Thursday, this evening, will be the last night that she will be here in Weeds, in Chi-Town. She's moving to Austin, Texas. Tomorrow evening, she will be at Kuypers, at Bob Edwards down on the farm's poetry reading, which is where I saw her first sometime back when she told me she was moving to Austin tomorrow. And she's been here for the past 7 weeks. But it's okay. I am very pleased because she never came to our poetry reading because she lived too far away. I mean, she lived up in Gurnee or something like that, and I can understand that. But now she's making a trip, and I really appreciate. I have appreciated her all the time. She's had several venues at the cafe up in Lincoln, and then at the Gallery Cabaret up in 2020 North Oakley, and many other places. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice warm hand for Miss Janet Kuypers. Put them together.
I have to read everything on my phone like everyone else does. I'm gonna be one of those people. Sorry. I've got 3 poems that are all about very different things. This first one is from a series of poems I did. This poem is about, it doesn't sound like it, but this poem is about a pumpkin.
Pumpkin?
A pumpkin.
All right, yeah.
See, you know,
I love that.
Halloween's coming up, so. It's called Gouge Out Their Eyes. Looking forward to my little ritual, I searched out my next victim and gain a gratification by gaining total control over someone else. Looking forward to getting them alone and cutting out the top of their head, driving my knife through their skull, cutting down between their fleshy intellects, so I could scoop out their brains, feel bits of the organ in my bare hands, clear out the skull, make them hollow, gouge out their eyes, open their mouth wide, so the world could see how empty my victims now were. I didn't do this often, otherwise I might have been caught. All these years of debasing someone weaker. This was my little ritual, and I was ready to share my secret with just the right person to help me get rid of the remains, to revel with me in this little game I play. I found someone, I confided with them, and they told me that this was against their religion. I begged, I pleaded, and the only way that they would join me is if they could take the skull and throw it from a building roof after we were done dismembering them, you know, to further destroy the evidence. And I agreed. So we drank in the sewer and drew up our plan. That may have been one of the last times I did this to someone, because it really was fun in the middle of the night when no one else was around, watching their hollow skull splatter on the ground. I think it was closure, the final piece to this ritual, where after so much destruction, I could say my work was done.
All right.
Because it's one of my last ones here, I've written a bunch of pieces about my mom as she was dying. So, this is for my mom.
Uh-oh.
When I was on the phone with her yesterday, Mom said she was going to go back home, across the country. And I told her that I'd visit her, maybe in July, after she gets there. And she replies, if I'm there. And you know, under normal circumstances, she could say that because who knows, they may go to Tunica to gamble for a weekend or something. But no, if she was going to be out of town, she would have said so. So just hearing her say, if I'm there, is just one of the infinite number of ways it hits home. If she's there, she says. I know I'm planning to see her because she's dying. I know our lives are turned upside down, because she's dying. But every little thing said now, no matter how innocuous, is like another nail in her coffin. And I can't pull those nails out. I would if I could. I'd scrape my fingers raw. I'd bleed a river. But I can't get my fingertips under those nail heads. And I have to sit here and let time tick by until the inevitable, while the tears continue to cry a river. Tick, tock, tick, tock. I've cried about it over and over again. It's like I'm almost getting used to the idea. I see her every weekend, so I can see her as much as I can before she leaves, goes across the country, back to her home, so she can die. And I've tried to learn about what's killing her if the chemo doesn't work. I hear that other more radical treatments we could look into, but I know she doesn't want any more treatment. She doesn't want to be in the hospital any longer. You see, she decided that she's ready to die, and the rest of us have to catch up to her, to understand it, to be ready for it, to accept it. But I don't know if that matters, or if that means I'll stop crying. Just heard today from my sister's house, where my mom is gaining her strength before she can make her trip home, that she's leaving by this weekend. It's too quickly for me to be able to see her one more time. And I know, I'll visit her now, and I'd visit her now, and every time she would just be so tired, and she could barely move when I'd call. They'd tell me not to talk too long because she doesn't want me to actually get her more tired. And I know it's been trying. Christ, I know it's harder for her, but it's been hard to see her like this. But at least this way, I was able to see her, which is more than I have now, because she's going home. And I know she's not dead, but she's going there to die, and when she's there, I can't see her, tired or not. When she goes back, she's that much closer to death for me. I know she wants to be there at her home with her clothes, in her kitchen, and her chair, and she watches TV, and in the den, at her computer, where she plays her games and checks her email. I know she wants to be there for the billions of plants she's got growing around in her house. I swear, she could shove a dead stick into the ground and it would grow. I don't know how she does it, but she brings life to everything. Isn't that funny? She brings life to everything. The sweetest woman in the world. And now she's going home to die. I know it's better for her. I keep agreeing with her. Her friends and neighbors are there. She has people to talk to. The weather is better for her there. But she doesn't want to be a guest in somebody else's house like she has been through the recovery from her multiple rounds of failing chemo treatment. She doesn't want the hospital anymore. She wants to be home. It's better for her there. I know this. I have to keep telling myself that. I know it's true. She's happier there. I have to keep telling myself that. They have to make sure that she's healthy enough for her trip across the country back to her home. So she's been recuperating so she can go home and fall apart in peace. And my brain has to keep reminding my soul that she'll be happier there. But my soul says that her going there just puts her one step closer to being gone forever. And because I'm vegetarian, I have to pull up this one. This is called Some People Want to Believe. Some people want to believe. So we're sitting there at Denny's in some suburb of Detroit. I don't know which suburb it was, but we were there at like 10 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. I was grabbing a bite to eat before I crossed the Ambassador Bridge and traveled into Canada. You know, I really only associate places like Denny's with traveling now. I always stop at some place like Denny's only when taking a road trip and just stopping for some food. I think if I went to a Denny's and I wasn't traveling, I'd get really confused. Oh, well, anyway, like I said, we were at a Denny's and it was morning, so the both of us got breakfast. Being a vegetarian, I ordered eggs with hash browns and toast, right? And the waitress says to me, like they always do in some no-name town in the middle of America, "You don't want any meat?" Like it's so unheard of to not have meat at breakfast. So I say, no meat, thank you. And then my friend orders pretty much the same thing, and we sit for a while and talk and stuff, and the food comes. And then she asks me, "You're a vegetarian, right?" My friend says, so I say yes. And then she says, "But you're eating chicken." And I'm just like, well, no, I'm not. An egg is an animal byproduct, it's not animal flesh. And I was about to say that was the difference between being a vegetarian and being a vegan. And she goes, "But if a chicken sat on it long enough, it would become a chicken." And I'm just like, well, no, it's an unfertilized egg. There was never a rooster around that hen, so it never could become a chicken. And she's like, well, no, though, it's a chicken, though. And she still just couldn't think that this wasn't a chicken. And so now I'm thinking, my God, does she really think that a chicken can lay eggs without it being fertilized? Like, only worms and stuff can procreate without two sexes present. So our voices are starting to get a little louder, and it ends up where I'm saying, so, are you having an abortion every time you have a menstrual cycle? Are men who have dreams mass murderers? And she just looks away, saying, "I'm not listening to you." And then I realized that some people, with logic thrown in their face, still believe whatever they want to believe.
All right.